Hi, welcome back to Team Stock Politics. I'm Sam, and today we are unfortunately not joined by my co-host Andrew. And today we're going to be covering some weekly news due to multiple factors. It's been roughly a quiet week up until the last little bit here of the end because Biden is as this video is in recording, Biden is in a town hall in Baltimore discussing political topics about his agenda and legislative. And this is a big deal because we need a lot of, especially with the November elections coming up, we need a lot of endorsements, a lot of influence under what President Biden is going to think of these November elections, especially with major cities being holding mayoral races, like cities like New York and Seattle. And we're also looking for, this is the first time where Biden has had, this is a pretty big town hall, and this is the first time that Biden's really had the footing to talk about, hey, what's going on here? Let me talk about what I've done and what we're thinking about doing and how we're going to get that. So the fact that this town hall is taking place at such an influential time, with the November elections and being less than 2 weeks, about 1.5 weeks, is extremely crucial, and Biden needs to go out there and make his endorsements, which could severely alter the course of these elections. Not saying that a lot of Democrats haven't made up their mind, but to draw a finer line between what Biden wants to support and what's going on, especially in these states like New Jersey and Virginia. It's important for Democrats to rally behind one thing, and sometimes it's even important to Republicans for rallying behind an enemy. And so it's going to help, first of all, political analysts, and second of all, the parties for identifying, okay, what moves should we make to secure these gubernatorial and other elections in this race. And it's not like this race is going to be, oh my gosh, the change of course. It's expected to go one way, but if Biden doesn't assert his control over the Democratic Party, the Democratic Party could find a situation that the Republican Party is in, which is, by the way, not a very good situation. Biden's doing a very different approach than his predecessor, as instead of doing this far right, concise, follow me, my way or the highway kind of mentality, he's doing a rally the Democratic Party together and let's get this election secured. And for states like Ohio, where they need a little bit of a rallying cry for Democrats, it's important that Biden steps out there and makes a concise thing. And as I was tuning in a bit to the town hall in Baltimore, Biden's been taking on some tough questions, and it's hard to tell whether his responses are being received positively. He's doing much better now that he doesn't have a political opponent, referring to the October and September political debates in 2020. He's acting a lot better now that he doesn't have this person that's trying to rally him up. Anderson Cooper is moderating this debate, and this is not his first time. I guess it's not a debate, but is moderating the town hall, and it is not his first time. He knows what time is going on, and he is not going to do that. And so it's nice where we can have this feeling of normalcy back again, where Democrats are making their points, Republicans are making their points, and that's just how it is. And it's much better and much easier to draw the lines. And as a lot of you guys at home are feeling, I'm glad that we don't have to worry about, oh gosh, what's going to happen next, is because, as we know, Trump was a bit inconcise previously, and it's nice to know, all right, this is what Biden wants, this is what Biden's going to give us. So, as we move on to that, there's another major case happening in the House. The House has decided, get this, to put Trump's associate, Steve Bannon, in criminal contempt for defying his subpoena. This is a big deal, because this could hit close to Trump. Because if you look at it, with Steve Bannon doing all these things for Trump and being basically his representative in the field, it's important for us to realize, hold the phone, Trump's not invincible anymore. I mean, just take a look at this. And I know a few people out there will object to this, but it is extremely important that no president or their henchmen should continue to defy law and expect to get away with it. And it's good that the House had voted in this opinion with some Republican support, and I'm not obviously too fresh on this idea, but looking at it from a neutral perspective, it's good that the House is working on this, and it shows that, hey, you can't just defy a subpoena. I mean, and their move was obviously very obvious, but either way, it's a big deal to show the fact, hey, Steve Bannon did a thing defying his subpoena, and now he's going to pay for it. We can't. It's good that the House isn't showing like weak points to the Republican and the Republicans in the House, pardon me, and the Senate, that, oh no, we're not going to let this slide. This is something that is outstandingly important, and we need to get this off our chest. And this is just all coming in. It's not fair that people like Steve Bannon could get away with this, and the House is making that certain. This is not an era of weakness for the Democrats anymore. This is an era of attack, and it is good that they are showing a staunch opposition to a confused Republican Party in order to make some leeway, especially, as we were previously mentioning, in these upcoming November elections on November 2nd. And another big thing that happened in, I believe, recently, Rachel Levine is the first 4-star health official, I believe, and 4-star officer to be sworn in as a transgender person. This is important, especially showing, I believe, the Deputy Surgeon General, possibly, I'll have to correct myself, is also transgender, and it's important to show that they are being represented, especially in fields where they need to be. I'm trying to pull up the article right now. But it is extremely important for this representation to be out there and to show, hey, we just can't have these white guys running here. So yes, the health department, she was sworn in as assistant secretary for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and is the first openly transgender 4-star officer across all 8 uniformed services in the United States. This is important to just everyone who feels underrepresented, and the reasons, and it's important for people to be represented like this. 4-star position is extremely important, and it's important for that representation to be out there. And so we're going to move on to our final point. I know it's been a shorter episode, but again, it was a very small week. But this is a big deal. What's coming up here is that this is not on a nationwide scale, but many of the United States major cities have vaccine mandates for the fire department and the police department. So a few weeks ago, I'd like to say 3 weeks ago, the major cities like Los Angeles and New York City implemented for all of their workers, such as the sheriff's department, the fire department, and the police department, to be required to either take frequent COVID-19 tests or be fully vaccinated. And this was a big deal at the time, but now a lot of these cities are pushing for fully vaccination. And this is a big deal. With these vaccines rolling out to all these major cities, it's a big deal. And mind you, that for I believe, New York Police Department, 5 times as many people have died from COVID-19 in the New York Police Department, NYPD, than being actually shot. Isn't that absurd? And we're going out there and spending all this money trying to militarize our police force, but then these people, when they're presented with a vaccine to actually protect themselves, they just deny it. And multiple unions are working to try to get exemptions for these officers. I believe in New York City, only around just over 60% of the population, not of the population, I'm sorry, of the NYPD are actually fully vaccinated. And to have this push by these cities is very important, especially as 1 out of 38 Americans, I think the number might be higher now, live in New York City, and even more for other major cities in California and the East Coast. To have these cities actually crack down, and you're not seeing states like Texas initiating these policies, but cities like Chicago, New York City, and LA, San Diego, San Francisco, Sacramento, Charlotte, all these cities implementing this could really drive the number down. Cities are obviously the number one population thing and an incredible breeding ground for COVID, and it starts with the people who are active in that community. Fire department and police department officials play a major role. Not even just officials, but officers themselves play a major role in serving the community, and that is what their oath assigns them to do. And to serve their community, they have to protect their community, and they will protect their community with the COVID vaccination. It's absurd how they can have the audacity in some cities to fire on an individual without reason, without substantial need to, and then turn around, and say, I'm not going to get the COVID vaccine that protects my community. Your job is to serve the community, and your failure to do so is shameful. We respect those who serve, but those who lie about their service is not respectful. And I think that wraps it up for this episode. Again, it was slightly shorter than normal due to the fact it was a small weekend. I was unfortunately not joined by Andrew. But I think that's it. And we'll catch you in our topic video on Tuesday. This has been Teen Talk Politics. Bye.